more can I say?
Top Billin. All right, y'all, here we go. Your boy's back reluctantly. A lot of people been hitting me up, asking me about what the Falcons should do in the offseason, despite the fact that I told these mama jummers that I wasn't doing any more Falcon shit because can't stand the fan base, can't stand having to talk about a fan base or talk to a fan base that wants to talk about the quarterback all day damn long, right? Despite the fact that the quarterback is completing 67% of his passes, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, you know the spill, already damn near 2,200 yards. It's always his fault, but hey, this is Atlanta, right? That's what Atlanta people do. So I'm not a part of that shit. I'm not a Falcons fan, never been. None of that shit right there, right? Strictly business, and I will continue to do strictly business on this particular content item because this actually intrigues me. So before the season, I said what? This was a make or break season for that particular brass. Playoffs or bust. Somebody's job was on the line, and I said that multiple people's job should be on the line. I said Dan Quinn's job should be on the line, and I said Thomas Dimitrov's job should be on the line. 1-6 or 1-5 or whatever like that before then, and both gone, or 1-4 or whatever it was, right? So they're already gone. So boom. So all you people who said, oh, nah, we're good with the people that we have. We shouldn't go out and get extra people, right? I said, man, might want to look at some more safeties. Might want to look at some more running backs. Might want to do this and that or whatever, then the third. But, hey, these people always think that just because they have a player on their team that's the gold standard or something like that. It doesn't work that way. These other people have players as well. These other teams do. So eventually they'll learn that and they'll figure that out, but that's neither here nor there because it's time to turn the page on this entire operation. And you cannot tell me that your man Arthur Blank is that senile, right? Octogenarian ass talking about not trading Julio Jones. Are you insane? Are you insane? You got to think about it as far as a business, right? It should never be anything outside of business. No fandom involved. Julio Jones is a great player, one of the greatest players in franchise history, no doubt about that. But guess what? You suck with him, and he's getting older. He'll be 32 next year. He's getting older, more injury prone. He is a huge asset right now for a playoff team. At 1-6, the Falcons aren't making the playoffs. You got to do what's right for your team for the future if you're a good owner and businessman. It sounds good to say you don't want to trade Julio. You let the people make that. They'll let the next coaching staff make that decision, right? That's dumb. Are you that dumb? That's dumb, man. You got to get rid of this dude. You got to get rid of him and any other piece that can help your team in the future because you want to get these people while they are desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. You can fleece somebody for perhaps a first-round draft pick for Julio Jones. You do it, right? Matt Ryan will be a big piece too, but I think it will be harder to move a quarterback and have them integrated into an offense right now. Most of the people who are playoff teams have their quarterback. So he will be an offseason decision, and there's no decision to be made on that front either. He has to go. As much as I like him, as much as I like Julio and all these guys, they have to go. Todd Gurley, what are you going to do with Todd Gurley? He's not that good. At this particular point in time, he's good, put it that way. Above average or something like that. He's not a superstar. If you have him on a one-year deal, why wouldn't you move him as well? People are desperate. There are quite a few of these playoff teams who need a running back. Maybe you hit up Philadelphia or somebody like that. Suppose you got a second-round pick for Todd Gurley. That wouldn't be hard. You flipped him for a second-round pick, that would be hard. Suppose somebody was crazy enough, or not even crazy. Julio Jones is a big asset. Suppose right now Julio Jones was I can't even really think of a team. It's one of these teams, right? You guys tell me in the comment section. One of these teams that need a receiver, they may be one elite receiver away from perhaps winning it all or getting close to winning it all. The Chicago Bears or somebody like that. Right, Chicago Bears for both of them. I think they need a running back. They might need another dope receiver. You could get those guys. You never know. You just want to get as many of these picks as possible to where you can do damage in the draft. This is a rebuild. Alex Mack. All these guys have, to me, they have value to teams who are valuable at the moment. You don't want to wait till the offseason. People aren't going to be as gung-ho about giving up draft picks to me in the offseason. They'll be thinking more level-headedly. If you were to get these guys right now, come on, man. Alex Mack, I wouldn't do – there's nobody on defense I would get rid of that. I think Deion Jones is somebody you keep a hold of, right? He'll still be your building block for the future on defense. Him and the Fourier, I think, is a pretty decent player. And, of course, I think you got potentially a franchise cornerback in A.J. Terrell. Going to need more players at safety, at corner. Could need more edge players, need more line of scrimmage players. Definitely don't get rid of Grady Jarrett. The offense is a place where you can stand to lose some people, in my opinion. So, Alex Mack, Julio, right now, Todd Gurley, these guys right now. For the future, Matt Ryan, he has to go as well. And then you'll be building around Calvin Ridley. You'll be building around Hayden Hurst. All you have to do is add some of these pieces that I'm going to talk about right here, and the shit will be off the chain. I'm telling you right now. So, man, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so I'm going to start this not from the guy who I would pick first, but from the guy who I would pick maybe second or third, just because I know the fan base of the Atlanta Falcons, and they want to talk about quarterbacks. So the guy that should be the next franchise quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons is Jamie Newman, formerly of Wake Forest and formerly of the University of Georgia. I think that fits a lot of what this fan base wants, and it kills a couple of birds with one stone, right? You get a guy who everybody thought at one particular point in time was going to be the Heisman Trophy winner from what he did at Wake Forest because he transferred to Georgia. He opted out, didn't play for Georgia. You get to see him with the same exact film that he'll have come draft time, with the same exact film that people said he was going to win the Heisman Trophy from, right? So was it a projection thing or was it just fandom? You know what I mean? So if that's the case, then he should be ripe for the picking. Maybe you get him in, maybe he falls to the second round. You imagine getting this guy. This guy is the closest thing that I've seen to Cam Newton. People want to compare Justin Fields, right? So Justin Fields would be the pick. If he's there, if the Falcons are somehow can pick number 1 or 2, Justin Fields is the guy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That would rock everything. That's exactly what the Falcons fans would want right there. That would also kill two birds with one stone. Former Georgia player, they wanted him to play at Georgia, transferred to Ohio State from the city and everything. That would be number 1. But I don't trust the Falcons to be bad enough to be picking 1 or 2. I think the Falcons probably end up picking within the top 5, but not 1 or 2. This could actually work out in its favor as well. If you look at a guy like Jamie Newman right here, he's the closest thing to Cam Newton to me, right? Innate accuracy, shaky, but he has a powerful arm, and he has a good frame. I mean, just like Cam Newton. I always thought Cam Newton's accuracy was shaky, and it's still shaky to this day. and that's another one, right? So if you get a Jamie Newman, he's older, so maybe he can come in and play right away, but you don't really necessarily need him to right there. Why not go and get Cam Newton as well? The fan base has a crazy fixation with Cam Newton. Why not get him for a year or something like that? See the deep ball right there. That's what they want. They want people who can run and somebody who can throw the deep ball. That's it. They don't care about accuracy, care about understanding of defenses. This fits well. Bang. You know? Wasn't completed, but you can see the kid's arm strength and everything here. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Look at this. The innate accuracy of it. Not there. He was under 60% completion. He had some really terrible games, right? If you factor in some of the games, now look at this. Factor in some of the games against subpar competition, he was good. Then he gets against really good competition, and this stuff starts to creep up on him, right? Just that type of accuracy right there. Threw it behind him. Like, just that little stuff, it needs to be cleaned up. Same stuff I used to think with Cam Newton. So did Cam clean it up? Some seasons it seemed like he did. Some seasons it seems like he didn't. Right now it seems like he's back to the old Cam right there. But you see the deep ball right there? That's really good. It's not a film study per se. I want to go in depth on this kid a little bit later, maybe towards the draft, whatever like that. But it's just something on my mind. I I just want to know what people would think about that. If they could target or get somebody like Jamie Newman and you were able to get him in the second round, that wouldn't be hard. Tell me that wouldn't be hard. Everybody wants somebody who can do this right, run your designer QB run game, bigger kid, about 6'4", 230 or something like that. It does remind me of Cam Newton, man, for sure. So Justin Fields would be the pick, but I don't trust him to be bad enough to get a Justin Fields. Jamie Newman will be very, very good, I think, right? So obviously I don't want to talk about the coach right now. So that's another thing right there. That's something I want to do on the back end. Like, everybody wants Eric Bieniemy, but everybody wants Eric Bieniemy in every fan base. He's the popular guy. Anybody coming from Kansas City right now is going to be popular. But you know how I think, right? I love Eric Bieniemy. But do you go and get a guy who is under Andy Reid? Andy Reid is the man. He's got 15,000 offensive coordinators under him that have gone on to be head coaches. Not all of them are successful. A lot of them not successful, right? He's the guy. Do you go and get somebody that's just like Dan Quinn being under Pete Carroll to me? Pete Carroll is the defensive wizard there. You're running Pete Carroll's defense. He's running Andy Reid's offense, and I don't think he's even running Andy Reid's offense. He's coordinating or helping coordinate it. He's not calling all the plays. You'd be hard-pressed to tell me he's calling the plays right there. So that's something that I will want to think about. Wouldn't be a bad hire, I don't think. It would be kind of cool, but I would go beyond that because everybody wants him as well. My guy right now, I want somebody who's made themselves under defensive guys. If you're talking about an offensive coach, Joe Brady from the Carolina Panthers. Covered him with LSU. He killed it. Smashed it. Under Coach O, who is a defensive guy, he had a co-OC who called most of the plays. So I'm like, damn, how is he going to do calling his own plays in the NFL? Carolina looks good to me. Looks good. He's doing it. Why not him? You want to get one of them hot shot offensive guys? That would be my guy right there. If you can't get an Eric Bieniemy, I like a Joe Brady, but there's some other guys I'll talk about on another content item, right? So I'm going to do this for a few teams. The New York teams as well, so trying to piece that together. But what do you think about Jamie Newman at quarterback? All right, my first pick, if you are in the top 5, because I have a hard time believing anybody in the top 3 is going to come off a quarterback, because I would think those top 3 teams do need a franchise quarterback as much as you would need a franchise quarterback. Maybe you package some picks and get up there, but it may not be worth it. It may not be worth it, right? Suppose you were able to get a generational franchise left tackle like Penei Sewell here. Penei Sewell is a mother. I think he's still like 19 years old. He's been in school 3 years. That shit is hard, right? This guy is going to absolutely kill the NFL for sure. See him right there, the type of athleticism and ferocity that he plays with. To me, it allows you to do some shifting around of the offensive line. Like I said before, you get rid of Alex Mack. Hennessy moves to his spot. You get rid of James Carpenter and people like that. Maybe you move a Chris Lindstrom over there. You can take a guy like Caleb McGarry, slide him on the inside as well, and then have Penei Sewell out there at right tackle, perhaps left tackle with Jake Matthews. If he's gone, you have a something for him as well, some type of insurance piece. Come on, Penei Sewell, that's what you need. If you want to get a young guy, a young quarterback, and have him absolutely crush it, put him behind a good offensive line to start his career. I don't think McGarry and these guys are just generational types at all. If anything, they're solid or something like that, man. So that's the thought of mine right there. If you can get the top 4, I'm not sure how he may not last past number 3, to be honest with you. He might go before a quarterback if you're talking about a guy like Trey Lance from North Dakota State. But if you can get Penei Sewell and then have him with a Jamie Newman in a Cam Newton, the Newman and Newton show there, I'm pretty sure that will attract a lot of people there, and that would be good business as far as in the future as well. Got to have that line up to snuff. It's not up to snuff still. Even without everybody being a first-round draft pick, get yourself a generational type, and I believe Penei Sewell would definitely be that for sure. All right, the next one I'm not going to do anything on. You guys should know the hell Justin Ross is. So it's just about pairing Calvin Ridley with somebody who can be a great elite complement to him, who can be a number one. So having 2 number one receivers just like you have right now, I think Ridley is a number one receiver along with Julio Jones. If Julio was moved for some assets, Justin Ross is being forgotten about right now because he has an injury and he's not going to play this year. A neck injury. If they say that that's good, in no uncertain terms to me, man, he was the number one player coming into this draft at the wide receiver position. There's an argument between him and Jamar Chase. He had a Jamar Chase season when he was a true freshman. Jamar Chase had an unbelievable year. If you can't get Chase, which you wouldn't be able to get Chase and Sewell that high or whatever like that, Justin Ross is like getting, to me, a Jamar Chase. He's bigger than Jamar Chase. His ball skills are like a Jamar Chase. He's just forgotten about now because Jamar Chase was the recency bias. That's what people are going to go by. Jamar Chase is a hell of a player as well, but Justin Ross was that guy just the previous year, and everybody said he was going to be a top 5 pick or whatever like that. Be able to get those type of players. Jamie Newman's probably a first-round talent. At least that's what they said. Justin Ross undoubtedly a first-round talent, but may slip because of the injury or just being forgotten about, or maybe he won't when it's ultimately said and done. But there are other guys like a Rashad Bateman at Minnesota. This draft is stacked. I like the last draft. I like this draft just as much. If you're talking about skill position players, wide receivers, tight ends, and everything like that, franchise offensive tackle there, some other guys who can be a first-round tackle types. Lots of players on the defensive side of the ball. If you wanted to go edge player, a Greg Rousseau or somebody like that, there are some players there. So, I don't know. I'll keep playing around with it. We'll come up with different options, but let me know what you're thinking about that. Would you guys like a Jamie Newman in Atlanta, and a Penei Sewell, a Justin Ross, and guys like that? So just let me know, all right? But there you have it, man. It's your boy Murf the Underground King giving you food for thought, but I am out.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.